What's up, guys? Welcome to Chasing Pelagics. My name is Jeff Neubauer, and this is your SoCal fishing forecast for September 8th, Thursday. Quick little recap here of the things that have been going on this week. Whale shark in U.S. waters. Thought that was pretty wild. Carl from the Air Pelagia said this is the third one he's seen in 37 years. So that doesn't tell you something wacky's going on. I don't know, man. Pretty wild stuff here. As you probably already know, this fantastic Hurricane K is now changed its path a little bit and is hanging out on the west side of the Baja Peninsula instead of the east side. And that really changes things quite a bit. A new feature windy.com has added, of course, today. Awesome, right? Is a hurricane tracker, and pretty sick. Shows you the wind knots as they get closer. Pretty cool little useful tool. As you've seen these things on the news for other forecasts, typically for the East Coast, not for the West Coast. How these things stick to the exact path is always a variable. There's like 30 different models, and you never know how it's going to end up here, but for the sake of argument, we can already tell that it's changing a little bit. It appears to be going a little bit further north, but let's give you Thursday midday. It's a little more east, and this is going to be bad for Cedros Island. Going to take a pretty good, nasty brunt of some pretty serious winds here. Still going to be a Category 1 at this point. We'll see what happens here, but these little pickers don't necessarily represent gusts, right? It's more of a steady stream here. So as you tell, 55 knots here. The storm's probably gonna be worse, but where this eye goes kind of determines how bad it gets, right? So Friday, this thing is sliding up and weakening, which is great. The eye of the storm is right on its current trajectory. Friday evening takes a jump a lot further north than the current trajectory of what was originally forecasted. And then Saturday starts heading west. So it's going to run into that northern wind shear that we typically have on the outside islands that causes eddy conditions and La Nina. Obviously going to break it down further. So we'll see what happens with that. But ocean conditions are not going to be safe for majority of the boats out there. Friday, Saturday for sure. Sunday, I'd say you got a chance. Probably going to be some residual bump on the water, but most of this stuff is going to head west, overnight. So we'll see how it lays out, but a little bit of a residual bump is going to be hanging out for sure. And this thing kind of hangs around a little bit. So although it's weakening, it's still going to be making some waves for sure. The size is to be seen. It's been all over the charts. At the beaches, it started off, saying there's going to be, 11 feet, 10 seconds, something like that on over Friday night, basically. We're hitting like peak in this area somewhere in here. Today, it's saying, it's only going to be 7 feet. You really don't know. Again, we're still 48 hours here from where this thing is going to land. Or turn or hit wind shear, and this is going to be very hard to really predict. What is it going to look like? Well, we're gonna have some rain coming, and we're gonna have some wind, but this wind direction is going to be very, very interesting. Now, this is the current marine forecast, and it's been dialed back quite a bit from where it was. But what hasn't really changed is the wind, and it's definitely 25, 30 knots Friday into Saturday. I'm saying wind waves, which are going to be going from east to west direction, right? It's going to be somewhere in the 3 to 4 foot size, right? And then we're going to be having a residual south swell from the storm, from pushing waves as it travels north, somewhere in the 5 to 7 foot range. And short period. So you have 2 short periods going to be crossed up. That's going to be nasty. offshore, the more offshore you go, the worse it gets. So, for example, here's the Tanner buoy forecast. Not looking good. 15 to 18 feet. You know, this stuff is not going to be nice. So we'll see what happens. We're still a ways from it hitting here, but historically, the only thing that's kind of relatively close to this is the hurricane of 1939, which was actually a tropical storm when it hit Newport Beach. And this is the inlet to the harbor. And you can see we got a sailboat surfing in here. Pretty wild. This is a pretty cool YouTube video. It's put up by Dana Point Boaters Association. Got a lot of historical stuff in here. But if you watch this long enough, another boat comes in and capsizes. It looks about the size of a sport fishing boat. But obviously surfers trying to get their waves and help rescue these people. But pretty wild time. Cool video to check out. Just Google Hurricane Newport Beach 1939. But this was a tropical storm. So this is kind of what I was expecting to happen if it gets really nasty. But again, we'll see how it goes. Don't risk it. I mean, it's not going to be worth it for sure. And it's only going to get nastier as you head west. So for sure, cross off Friday, cross off Saturday. Thursday's probably fishable. Sunday looks probably fishable. Might have some residual bump out there. So check your latest marine forecast conditions. Again, tropics are wild. You don't really know what's going on until they're here. So keep all that stuff in mind. But let's talk about what we got going on fishing. Still incredible bluefin bite going on. Anywhere from the 175 to the west end of Cat down to the 499. We've seen bluefin all in the zone. This is where you're going to find the larger ones. There's some smaller ones mixed in there too, 20 pounds, all the way up to now 250, let's say. Good grade of fish in this area. Still, we've had a crazy bump into water temps. This red, darker red here is like 79, 78. A lot of guys have been in this zone fishing Dorado, and that's why. The warmest water. That's where they want to be. So I am impressed that we still have bluefin in this water. Although it says 76 degrees, this is really the sea surface temperature. And being that we've had this heat wave, I'm sure the surface temp has jumped really quick here. But that may not necessarily resemble the water that's directly below the surface. So this incoming storm will obviously mix it all up and we'll have a real idea of what the water looks like. So just figure that it's got a little extra, plus temperature on top because of the latest heat wave and light wind conditions as well. So most of that will change. As I mentioned in prior forecasts, usually tropics drive fish, and being that's been just an all-out, probably one of the best years of fishing we've had in a really long time. I mean, we really haven't seen the really, really big bluefin. We didn't really see them too much last year either. Nothing really up to 300 pounds yet, or over that, like we had 2 years ago. Right up to 400 pounds. So we haven't really seen that, but we've seen a lot of fish in that 100 to 200 pound range, which is still excellent fishing. Best Dorado fishing in my lifetime for sure, maybe ever, that I know about. And we're having all this during the middle of a third round of La Nina, which is supposed to be a cold water event. And here we are looking at 70-degree water in the middle of summer. So it makes me have a lot more questions than answers. What does this bring for fall? Do we see wahoo? I mean, at this point, I say it's certainly possible. The real question is, do they have the travel from below the border? And ordinarily, I would look at it's like a northern Baja. We have still warm water conditions here. Orange is 74. So not quite as warm, right? So let's go below that. Cedros Guadalupe. And still going to have that gap here, right? 74-degree water. So is that enough for them to make the trip north? Well, they don't really see wahoo in this area until about September. So it's really, really hard to say. I know we're getting into September, but we're talking about another 400 miles north to go to get there. So if those fish have shown up at Cedros, which I haven't heard of anybody catching them yet, certainly possible. I don't think anybody's fishing them today, but we'll see what happens. I'm not going to make any predictions. I'm just saying I think it's a possibility. I can't say for sure that they're going to be here or putting money on it. It is what it is. They show up or they don't. I'll catch them when they're here. How about that? So, but that being said, water temps are still killer. Way above normal than what we were expecting, and really can't be upset about it. So bluefin zone still on fire. Catalina Island. Why? Who's going to fish it? Why? I mean, I guess if you're bored and you don't want to go offshore fishing, spend a little bit of time looking. But again, why? You don't need conditions for offshore fishing, at least that are really dependent on current and clean water. Seems like we have everything that we need going on right here or right now. So below the island, a little quieter today on the east end, but from 152 to 277, 209, basically everything below the 267. This has been prime time Dorado zone, and we're looking at the 8-day here, so this is a little bit softer. But look at the 1 day, you can tell what I'm talking about when it looks like things are a little bit on the overreactive side on the chart. So 3-day I think is really the best look at what we got. But again, continue to find massive amounts of Dorado. Any kelp patty can go. Your best signs of biting fish. One is jumpers. Dorado don't necessarily have to be on a kelp patty. I know we're seeing a lot of them on there, but we've seen a lot of open water fish too. If you see jumpers on a patty, I'm throwing a popper. That's the very first thing I'm going to throw. If they're going to be that reactive to a bait, a popper with a treble hook, those clear ones that are out there work just great. 150 millimeter size, 175 millimeter size. Basically 6 inches or 7 inches. Not much difference other than the weight of them and whether it'll fit in their mouth or not. But treble hooks, that's the key to the game here. Single hook, yeah, they might bite it, but they might toss the hook too. They're known for jumping out of the water, so you definitely want to fish those with treble hooks. Otherwise, slow troll sardines, smaller the bait usually works the best. And then if you get really bored, you can try to throw some really small jigs at them, like the 30 gram, 40 gram Colt Sniper, something like that. It's a little bit smaller. But generally, they're curious, dumb fish, so they'll pretty much bite anything that's in front of their face if it'll fit. And for some reason, they still got their fill. They don't want to bite. Shoot them with a spear. They don't really tend to care about getting spooked. So, like I said, they're curious, dumb fish with an appetite. So, kill them while you still can. Like I said, best year we've had in a really, really long time. Below the border, we've had still really good yellowfin fishing, bluefin fishing, all kind of mixed in here. If you've seen what the San Diego's has been catching, this is the majority of what we're seeing here. Anywhere from 20 to 50 pounds for both species. Still fun fishing. And again, Dorado mixed in anywhere. You can literally run into them. Like I said, if we ran into them at Tanner, or a couple at Tanner, we ran into them on the back of San Clemente Island. I mean, who knows? But they're around. We're still seeing some bluefin around the north end of San Clemente Island. Some of the stuff has just been bite at night. I know this stuff gets picky. Some people say that only bite at night. Well, sometimes it's just not the right bait in front of their face. So, again, daytime tactics, spreader bars work great. The kite works pretty good with a little bit of action on it. Not just a dead bait, but a little bit of action on a live flame fish or a lure will help intrigue a bite. And then for those with the trolling game, high speed Mad Max, 13, 15 knots, somewhere in there helps the bite. And if you're getting bit off on a Mad Mac, bring a Wahoo bomb just in case. Something with a wire leader just in case you do run into those Wahoo. But we'll see what happens if they happen to show up or not. You never know. San Clemente Island, we've had a little bit of yellowtail fishing here on the front side of the island. Navy's been kind of busy over the last couple of weeks, so you might see open window for that. But hey, if they ask you to move, make sure you move. But again, why go fish an island for conditions when we have epic offshore fishing? Makes no sense to me. So Coronados, again, there's yellowtail there. They've been biting. There's a whole bunch of seals though, so why mess with seals if you don't have to when we have offshore fishing? Unless you're hell-bent on catching a yellowtail when we have awesome mahi fishing, awesome tuna fishing. Why go chase yellowtail right now? Doesn't make sense to me. And deal with the dogs, right? So that's my story for this week, and I'm sticking to it. But thanks for checking in. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And if you want to support our channel, we have an online tackle store at chasingpelagics.com. Make sure you check that out. We're going to be adding stuff to the website hopefully here in the next month or so. Trying to bring a whole bunch of new stuff to it. I got to dedicate some more time to it, and time is thin right now. So that's it, guys. Have a safe week. Be safe out there on the water, and make sure you check your marine forecast before you leave the dock. Cheers. Hey, thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and check out our website and online store at chasingpelagics.com. And make sure you share the stoke.